Welcome, Chef. Can you demystify the Instant Pot for me?
Well, I'll do my best.
All right.
Okay, an Instant Pot 101, does that sound good?
That sounds good.
All right. So when I wrote the Mexican Instant Pot, I had never used a pressure cooker before. So I was petrified of this thing. I mean, absolutely petrified. So I understand what people are going through when they pull this out of a box and they go, oh, this is great. Oh, what do I do with it, right? But once you learn how to do it, it's amazing. It's basically an electric pressure cooker, right? So you plug it in, it's got a set temperature and it's got a timer. So you don't have to watch the stove, you don't have to worry about how long it's cooked or if the pressure is right, because apparently that's important if you don't want cat food. In the front, here's this big array of buttons. So this is what scares the pants off everybody. There's only two things you need to know to really cook well in an Instant Pot, and that is saute and cancel. Cancel, you just go, and that stops the cooking. But the other wonderful thing about this that you can't do in a slow cooker is you can saute in it first. And we know that sauteing is where all the flavor comes from, right?
That's right.
The lid, the most important part of the lid is this right here.
Yeah.
That's your pressure cook. So that's venting and steaming. That's where the action happens when you want to get rid of it. I'm going to press saute. And if I want to saute at a higher or lower temperature, just moves around like there.
When we say saute, we mean something that's really hot. Does it get really hot?
Oh, it's perfect. In fact, it almost browns too much, but there it goes. I mean, that's the first thing. And then, oops, I don't want to saute yet. Off it goes. Okay.
You make it seem easy.
On, off.
Yeah.
Doesn't get much easier than that. Other thing, setting the lid, okay? See her little song? Mm-hmm. It's singing to me. It's going on.
Nice.
Closed. I'm open.
Chicken tortilla soup.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We're going to build a pretty traditional chicken tortilla soup. So the great thing about this is it's so fast in the Instant Pot. It's amazing. So we're going to do this from start to finish in probably 30 minutes. These are guajillo chilies, which are these guys right here, stemmed and seeded.
And if I can't find guajillo, what else could I use?
You could use a California chili. Guajillos are nice. They're the taste of enchiladas, you know, and Californias don't have quite the same richness of flavor. And these can be a little bit spicy, which I don't mind. But you can't count on it. So after they're soaked, 10 minutes in hot water, you don't want to overdo it. You drain them. You never use the chili soaking water. Throw them in the Vitamix. And they get some tomatillos. So this is very typically Mexican, right? This is just a Roma tomato, which is one of these guys. Boom, boom, boom. I put some garlic in there. We're gonna add a little bit of onion.
Do you use a white onion?
I like white onions. White onions tend to be a little bit sweeter.
And could I do this in a food processor?
Yes, you could. You just want to get it really, 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 really smooth. So you want to be patient with it. You're going for the smoothest consistency you can get there.
And it's a beautiful color, Chef.
Yes, the color's gorgeous. I've got the Instant Pot on saute and on high, and it's been warming up for about 5 minutes, so you can feel the heat. That's good and warm.
And it says hot.
It says hot, well, but it always says hot. You know? It's just erring on the side of caution. So in goes a little bit of vegetable oil, and I wouldn't use olive oil in this because olive oil is actually too good for it. A little bit of onion. Put in the tomatoes, a hatch chili or an Anaheim chili. That's going to cook for a minute. This is where it gets complicated, is we're going to throw the chicken and the stock in, put the lid on.
Oh, that's so complicated.
Isn't it great?
So you're using chicken, but I understand that you can make this beautiful soup vegan or you could make it vegetarian.
Yeah, that's the awesome thing. All the flavor comes from here. So the chili base with the tomatillos and the tomatoes and the garlic and onions, I'm actually going to fry that. And that's a Mexican technique to fry a salsa and bring the flavors out. And then in goes the chili puree. So I'm going to use some of my chicken stock to rinse this out. It's dry. It smells amazing. The flavors are all concentrated. So here we go for the really difficult part. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. In goes the chicken. So I'm using boneless chicken thighs here, which I think are better than chicken breast. In goes stock. And this is very important. We're going to rinse out everything delicious in that blender.
Beautiful.
So now we're going to press the all-important cancel button.
Cancel?
Cancel. We're going to put the lid on so it can sing its little song. Locked. Then we're going to turn the cock on top from venting. to that. What's it say? Sealing. And then we press soup, and we want 20 minutes. Away it goes.
All right.
Soup is done, right? But I was busy doing something. Actually, we were having margaritas.
Yes.
Let's admit it. And it went automatically to warm. So it has stopped pressure cooking, but it's holding the soup warm. And it'll hold it warm for a century if you want, which is pretty good to know.
So the L stands for low.
The L stands for low, and the 6 tells me how many minutes it's been sitting in there, which could make a difference if you were like making a flan and you didn't want to overcook it. You don't want that to happen. But for a soup, we like soup. It's easy. So what's our most important button? Cancel. So we're done. So the next thing is we're going to release pressure. There's a lot of pressure in here. Observe the tool. Never do this with your hand, okay? So we're gonna push it. It's gonna make a big noise, and the dogs are gonna run barking. You can't open it until the pressure is released, which is a great safety feature. It's not making any noise at all, none. I'm going to very carefully. See, it's just,
it's beautiful.
It's just falling apart.
And because you used thighs, it has a lot of flavor.
Yep.
If you'd used breast, it would taste like sawdust.
It would, and they would be dry. These are fried tortilla strips. So there's corn, and then I put a little bit of red flour tortilla in there just for color. And then this is a mixture of Jack and Menonito cheese. And then comes the good stuff.
Look at that.
I'm gonna put a teeny bit of salt just right on top of the avocados.
Oh, great idea.
And then you sprinkle the whole thing with cilantro. And then what makes tortilla soup so good, that last little squeeze of lime. I would be really happy to have that put in front of me.
I'd eat it for breakfast.
I have eaten it for breakfast, actually.
Here's a quick tip from Melissa's. Kumquats are luscious. And they're like an inside-out orange because the sweet part is on the outside while the tart part is on the inside. I love to make kumquat rosemary marmalade. It's delicious served atop goat cheese on an open-faced sandwich or as an accompaniment to all kinds of roast poultry. I start by cutting off 2 or 3 slices off one end, 2 or 3 slices off the other end, and then I see a seed here, and I'm going to pick that out with the tip of my knife. Look on the other side, there's another one. And then I'm going to cut that last center section in half. I've got about 26 kumquats, or 12 ounces. Over here I have some simple sugar syrup that was made with 1/3 cup of granulated sugar and 1/3 cup of water. And I just simmer that until the sugar dissolved in the water. And now I can go ahead and add my kumquats. And I want to add some aromatics to this. So I'm going to add a little bit of coarse pepper. You could take a couple of whole peppercorns and just smash them, and you could use those. And I'm also going to add a nice sprig of rosemary. So we're going to give that a little toss to kind of mix it around. And I'm going to let these cook until the sugar syrup has thickened almost to a syrup and the kumquats are softened and translucent. So our marmalade is looking gorgeous. I want to fish out the sprig of rosemary. But I want to add some fresh rosemary, so I've got a nice sprig here. I'm going to pull in the opposite direction of the way it grows and give them a good chop. I want to end up with about 1/2 teaspoon to 3/4 teaspoon. In that goes. And a good stir. We're going to use the marmalade I made yesterday because we want it to be nice and cooled off to make this open-faced sandwich. And I have a piece of rustic bread here that I have toasted. I like to toast it so that it's really crunchy on the top. And then we've got some goat cheese. And if you're not a goat cheese fan, you could use cream cheese. And I think you could even use something like a nice slice of Havarti. And now some beautiful kumquat rosemary marmalade. So you've got all kinds of flavor going for you here. So how nice is that? Easy. The produce aisles are filled with so many delicious choices. Try something new, have an adventure.